Miku Boxing is out everywhere. A lot of people have been asking, is this game actually worth it? Or is it just a Miku-skinned cash grab taking advantage of all the simps who live and breathe everything Hatsune Miku? Well, after playing diligently for over 100 days, I can confidently tell you that Miku Boxing kicked my ass. Fitness Boxing Hatsune Miku is a new addition to the Fitness Boxing series that launched earlier this year in Japan, and just recently released globally in English. Like the other games in the Fitness Boxing series, the gameplay consists of full-body combinations of punches, footwork, and dodges, sometimes to the beat of your favorite Vocaloid songs. Like the other games in the Fitness Boxing series, the game is marketed as a full fitness experience, not just a rhythm game. But does it actually deliver on this promise? There are many reviews floating around online, including some that paint a grim picture of the game, painting it as a sad game that's not even fun, let alone an effective workout. But as someone who has played over 100 days of Miku Boxing, I am here to tell you that they are wrong. Of course you're not gonna get shit out of a fitness game if all you do is flail your arms around like a pair of limp noodles, because as the game itself tells you, this game is all about your form and dedication. If you just move your arms around lazily, sure, you might score points with Miku, but you aren't going to get anything physically out of the workout, which is, arguably the entire point. At the end of the day, the truth is that, like any other workout, you're going to get out of the game what you put into it. Furthermore, if you underestimate the game, it will kick your ass. The main gameplay loop is simple. You have the option between performing custom exercises or daily workouts. Daily workouts are a randomized combination of different workouts for around 15 to 25 minutes, depending on the difficulty you select, while custom workouts can be as short or as long as you'd like. Daily workouts usually consist of 1 to 2 10-minute cardio routines and 1 to 2 rhythm minigames. 6 to 10 minutes longer if you enable stretches, which I highly recommend, because otherwise on harder modes you're going to wake up feeling like you got directly punched by Miku about 1,000 times. Just trust me on this one. One time I was in a hurry and skipped stretches for a full workout on the hardest setting, and it literally felt like I pulled muscles I didn't even know I had. Did I do it? Did I do it? Inside of either mode, the movements aren't that complex, though they can amp up in difficulty later on, especially for the cardio routines. For most of the game, you'll be shifting your weight back and forth in a standard boxing stance while tossing in punches, alternating with your right and left hands. In either mode, you'll be reacting to the beat, throwing different types of punches, dodges, blocks, and later on hops and ducks as the game slowly ramps up in intensity. Some of these combinations can actually get pretty tricky, though the majority are quite simple. Admittedly, the variety of different moves isn't that complex, but because you're constantly keeping your footwork and form in mind, as well as trying to stay on beat, the game never really gets dull and manages to keep you moving and engaged at all times, which is great if you're lazy like me, but extremely motivated by rhythm games and too stubborn to allow yourself a single miss. The game loop can admittedly be a bit repetitive, but it's fun and keeps itself from becoming boring by changing things up with a bunch of song options and a huge library of different predetermined workouts, alternating at a fair pace, so it's always keeping you engaged and feels like something new. Overall, I was surprised at how much I felt the effects of the game on my body. As someone whose second most played game on my Switch is Ring Fit, I was a bit skeptical if Fitness Boxing would live up to the experience I had with that game. But I was pleasantly surprised when my first day of playing not only left me satisfied but winded. It was much more challenging than I anticipated. And I sponsored a number of VTuber friends to play as well, and many of them seemed to have the same consensus, that the game was much harder than we initially imagined. But how does it compare overall to the experience provided by its main competitor, Ring Fit? One obvious advantage comes to mind. Ring Fit requires the game's Ring-Con and Leg Strap, which are only sold in a bundle with the game itself. So what happens if you lose one or even both? Well, it sucks to be you, I guess. Not to mention, if you can't find a physical copy, the option of buying a digital one is non-existent, as the peripherals are mandatory to play the game at all. And if you're like me and end up traveling a lot, these peripherals, especially the Ring-Con, take way too much space in your bag, and inevitably end up just leaving them behind. So when it comes to portability, Miku Boxing is definitely the superior option, as all you need is your Switch. This being said, you may not need additional peripherals, but the game does require 2 working Joy-Cons. So if you're running a Switch Lite without a spare set of Joy-Cons, you'll have no choice but to buy a pair, which is another reason I think the Switch Lite is basically a scam, but that's a story for another day. Though they may not be mandatory, if you want some peripherals to enhance the experience, there are some optional peripherals you can buy if you want to, turn your Joy-Cons into brass knuckles while Miku teaches you to crush your enemies with your fists. But back to Ring Fit. Ring Fit does provide a superior ability to work out your entire body, particularly your legs and core, as well as different adjustments you can make to accommodate physical limitations. This is amplified by having the option to select specific parts of your body to target in individual workouts, so you can essentially pick different days to train your arms, legs, core, or flexibility, instead of having a mixed workout if you want to rotate the muscles being worked. The game also has an actual story mode, and the story mode can be quite engaging if you're like me and feel compelled to see a story to the end no matter how much your thighs beg you to reconsider that 75th squat. Whereas you kind of have to motivate yourself to load up Miku Boxing since there isn't really a story to look forward to. You could argue that unlocking all the costumes and songs is a motivation, but the reality is it takes no time at all to unlock almost the entire shop. I was especially disappointed by the lack of costumes available to unlock, as it seemed like a wasted opportunity for people who want to collect or even mix and match lots of different outfits to dress up their Vocaloid Oshi. When it comes to cardio, however, Miku Boxing is the clear winner. While Ring Fit's strength is in its Ring-Con's resistance, the short jogging sections and small selection of cardio workouts don't really get my heart rate up or get my blood pumping. Miku Boxing may not have workouts specified to target specific muscles, but its speed and variety, particularly in later levels, do still ensure that you work out more muscles than you may initially think you would. In addition, Miku Boxing has a specific system targeting modern gamers that does keep you motivated, perhaps in an even stronger way than Ring Fit Story Mode, the daily stamp system. Every day that you load up Miku Boxing, at the end of your workout, you get a stamp on your calendar and a note telling you the number of days in your current streak. As a gacha gamer who can be incredibly scatterbrained but religiously completes my dailies, thinking of this daily stamp as another one of my dailies has been an absolute game changer in making sure I don't skip my workout. And the mental agony I feel when I accidentally skip a day and my streak is reset to 0. Absolute agony. By tapping into this daily system that so many of us program our entire brains around, the game makes it easy to form a habit, which, in my experience, is the hardest part of getting consistent exercise. And breaking the habit is the easiest way to fall out of exercising entirely. The reason I like Miku Boxing's stamp system in particular is that stamps not only count for the full daily workouts, but also for single songs, which is the feature that makes Miku Boxing in particular such a standout in the series. As long as you play even one song, many of which are under 5 minutes, you can get your stamp and not break your streak, keeping the habit intact. The best part? The single song mode is arguably the hardest part of the entire game. So even if you only have time for a short workout, you're in for a tough workout. The Miku-size mode is a rhythm game from hell, designed to have you throwing rapid-fire punches in all directions, while barely providing any breaks to catch your breath. If you're a rhythm gamer like me, this also means you're going to push yourself to get a perfect score, which means you'd rather die than take a moment to catch your breath and miss a single punch, and you'll be getting one hell of a workout playing the songs on the highest difficulty. Though the score can be cheesed by simplifying your movement a little bit, if you're playing for the workout and maintaining proper form, these quick, intense workouts are actually incredibly challenging. My personal favorite is the song Overlit, which forces you to do 570 punches in less than 5 minutes at 210 beats per minute. Remember, you're also hopping foot to foot to the beat while punching, so it's basically throwing almost 600 punches while sprinting for 5 minutes straight. So if you're like me and often have days where you just don't have time to work out but get stressed about missing a day, you can run this single song for a pretty decent mini workout so that you don't get rusty. Okay, at this point, we get it. Miku Boxing provides a pretty decent workout, at least initially. But how is it over time? After playing for over 100 days, I can confidently say that the game still challenges my stamina. And as a rhythm game enjoyer, I still don't find the game stale in any way. In fact, there are still moves and songs I have yet to master in the game, so I'm still motivated every day to improve and master my form. I wasn't playing for weight loss, so I can't really judge how effective it is, if that's your goal, but I can say that my average weight dropped slightly since starting. As long as you make an effort to slowly try the harder difficulties, the game will give you a good workout once you reach them. On a day you're truly pressed for time, you can do a single song without stretches without incurring too much of Miku's wrath, aka full body pain. But on a regular day, the full workouts will leave you destroyed if you think you're too good for stretches, similar to any other intense workout, proving that without a doubt that it is an intense workout after all. Heck, if you jump into the harder difficulties without working your way up, even if you do stretch, they might even leave you destroyed until you can up your stamina. The first time I played and got overconfident and played for 2 hours on stream, I absolutely knocked on my butt and woke up feeling like Miku put my body through a meat grinder. Now, as long as I do the stretches, I wake up the next day completely fine. Though if I skip them, I'm still in for a world of pain. The game has since had multiple forms of DLC as well, which shows the possibility that it is a game that the devs are actively monitoring, and may add more in the future depending on user interest. And where Miku Boxing has local multiplayer, it's a blast to invite over friends or family and challenge them to a match, flexing your fists and absolutely destroying their minds when they get overconfident and quickly find out the game is no joke. And because the game can be bought digitally and by anyone who has a Switch, as long as it's not a Switch Lite, it's easily accessible to most people, making it probably one of the most budget-friendly fitness games on the market. Standing at 50 USD, it is a fully priced game. However, this is still much cheaper than not only Ring Fit, but also a one-time fee, unlike gym memberships, and would be available 24/7 without having to put on your shoes and travel 30 minutes in the rain just to use sweaty, damp equipment while someone stares at you from the opposite side of the room. So if it is something that you can use every day to improve your health and well-being, it's absolutely worth the price, as long as you're diligent and make sure you use it. Its portability also makes it an excellent choice for someone who travels a lot. It may not have a free trial, but to test if the game is for you, you can check out the Fist of the North Star fitness boxing demo, which has a similar concept, though a disappointing lack of Miku. Don't worry if you find it too easy, the later game stuff becomes much more challenging, but it will give you an idea if you'll enjoy the basics. Want to give the harder stuff a try before spending your hard-earned cash? Play along with someone else's gameplay on YouTube. Heck, maybe even consider checking out a VOD of my own. Because the game doesn't require a ring con, you'll get the exact same experience physically, minus the in-game feedback, if you play along with recorded footage as if you're playing your own copy. So really, if you've been considering playing at all, there are ways you can try it out without even spending a dime. So you've got no reason not to stand up, stretch out those biceps, and just give it a shot and see what you think. If you hate it, I just saved you $50. And if you love it, maybe you just found your new favorite workout routine. And if you want to grab a copy while supporting my channel, consider buying through the links in the description, or subscribing and giving the video a like if you want to see more.